the guy had the intention and heart to tell you those words that you were able to grab onto in the moment that you needed it most. And to me, that's like an everyday hero. I think we get so caught up in, well, is my life mattering the way it needs to matter? Am I living a purposeful life? That guy in that moment lived a great purpose, because now you're able to take that and do what you've done, and you've impacted so many people with XRP and all these different things you've done and the good that you've brought. And it was built upon in that time, those words. If you're a school teacher, no matter what you're doing, whatever position or profession you're in, and just a phrase, a sentence of encouragement, that can be something that changes that person's life. And you don't sit there and think like, I made such a big difference this day, but yeah, you did. The reality is, man, you made a massive impact. And those words is something that it sounds like you kind of used to build your life philosophy upon and get your courage and confidence as you went forward.
Technically, when you're sitting with someone, like, you're their confidant. Like, they asked you. So when people ask me like, hey, Jess, did you make $1 million in insurance? Yeah. Real estate, sales. Yeah. Real estate investments. Yeah. Stock market. Yeah. 2020, right? And I'm just saying these things because without me trying, I would never know.
Yeah.
And again, let's say you do try and you don't make it. You don't make the money, but you learn the lesson. So now you can tell someone, don't step in that. I could see, what's in front of you. I'm not here to like tell people, hey, you know what? I don't believe in you. No. All I'm saying, hey, Paul, if you take the first step and look to your left, and I'll never hold the person back. Good. And that's how, I help all my agents.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Leveled Up Life podcast. Branamier and Courtney, as always, here with Paul McClain, here to bring you inspiration, motivation, hopefully some education, helping you level up your life in all the areas that matter most, at least to us and hopefully to you, whether it's your faith, your family, your fitness, your finance, or your franchise. Man, our goal, our heart is just to encourage you, help you get better every single day. And as always, Paul McClain, I'm glad to be here with you. You're across the table now, man.
Yeah, we can't reach each other, but in spirit.
In spirit, we're right here, man.
Hold on. Let me do the connection.
There we go. There we go.
We're unified.
Amen.
Well, hey, guys, I'll tell you this much, man. We really do prize sitting back and saying, who can we have on each and every week that's going to bring you some significant value? And so today, we're really going to kind of unpack more of the finance and franchise part of a leveled up life and really kind of do a deep dive. We've got Jesse on, and Jesse, guys, as a proper introduction, he's a serial entrepreneur. So what does that mean? Because everybody says that nowadays. It's like, they opened up, a Hot Pocket, and now they're, an unpackaging business, right? Yeah, they're a chef.
But you gotta say his last name right, bro. You got to roll the R.
Morphine.
Oh,
Morphine.
Morphine.
Yeah, Jesse Morphine.
I'm Hispanic by marriage. My dad,
by tan.
So, but listen, he's a serial entrepreneur. He's had multiple 7-figure businesses in different industries, right? Which is a big deal. He's somebody that, in the real estate, he's, to me, as I've spoken to Jesse over the last couple of years and seen what he's done, he's kind of like a trendsetter, you know what I mean? Like you're ahead of the times with a lot of what you've done. He's a mogul in real estate. He's got a ton of different doors. How many doors do you got?
I'm at 32 now.
32 doors. And like I said, it's finance and franchise, man. It's a big part of our life. And so I'm excited to have you on. And so you could bring some value to everybody watching today, man. So awesome. Thank you for being with us, bro.
Hey, thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Well, dude, let's get into the story, man. I want to hear, your journey. I mean, you've obviously, you've built massive success, multiple 7 figures across a lot of different industries. So that's one of those things where you can't say, oh, it was just by luck.
It wasn't a fluke.
Yeah. His dad was big in real estate, and you've gone out there and you've proven what works, right? You've got system structure, you've got habits, you've got thought processes, you've got things where if everything got taken away tomorrow, you could go recreate it. And that's what I think people got to understand is that's true success. If it's gone tomorrow, I could build it again today. So talk about your journey, man, and what's that look like and how you've gotten to this level of success.
Wow. Paul, you actually just struck a chord by what you just said on the very last part. Like if I were to have to start over, I'm just going to share this part. You guys could go to Amazon and see, I wrote a book and a chapter in a book, and it's You Could Overcome Anything. So based on what you just said right now, I owed $500,000 to the IRS when I was like 24 years old on the first million that I made in real estate sales. So it comes and it starts off with real estate. But going back to what you just said, I found out that I supposedly owed $500,000 about a week before my wedding.
Wow.
Jeez.
And I told
that's
my wife.
That's the Iris' wedding gift that you could kind of expect from him, right?
Did you tell your fiance?
Of course. And guess what? I told my fiance, I said, hey, you know what? Remember when I told you if it was going to go good, it was going to go really good?
Uh-huh.
But remember if I said if it goes bad, it's going to go really bad? And, you know, at that particular point, just to be, you know, really honest, I told her if you don't want to show up, I completely understand. I wouldn't show up.
Wow.
And I left it at that. Day of the wedding, of course, Hispanic, she shows up 30 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
I was sweating. I'm over there looking at the whole party. And I said, hey guys, regardless, we're going to have a party here today.
Yeah.
So everyone welcome. So she shows up and she says, hey, you know what? The photographer is just running late. And I said, hey, you know what? Awesome. With that said, Paul, this is what I told her. I said, even if this goes bad, the hardest part is it took me 7 years to learn and I'll rebuild it in 12 months.
Well, hey, what a level of peace of mind you can pull from
100%.
that. And just for all you single people out there, if you're wondering, like, how do I make sure she's the right one? Just act like you owe the IRS a bunch of money. Throw that out there. If she don't show up, man, she wasn't the right one. How long you been married for now?
I'm going on 14 years.
See?
So 14 years.
Yeah, cool.
22 years together. So super cool.
That's
and
awesome.
Kids?
2 kids. Yeah. So 2 teenagers now. And it's funny you bring that up because life's a game. And I'm just going to share with you guys, I'm in the era from Nintendo. All right. And I want you guys, whoever's listening, to take this for what it is. The target is not the target. Me coming out here, meeting with you guys, right? Sounds like, yeah, let's go ahead and get together. But let's just say you're not the target. The target's that viewer that needs this bit of information for confirmation.
That's good.
And going back to Nintendo, all right? If you guys remember Super Mario Brothers, all right, the game is save the princess, period, right? Well, the first time that you guys played the game, we didn't know any better. Level 1, Scene 1, level 1, scene 2, right? But when you get to level 2, scene 1, you can literally crack the bricks on top and run straight across and pick the tunnel to just go and save the princess. So what I want to share next is the fact that somebody already built it. Somebody already, you know, somebody already took the risk that you don't have to take. And Paul, it goes back with just grab the playbook. Grab the playbook and save yourself that time to get you to success. Whatever success, you know, is for you, just get that playbook, jump up, break the bricks, go straight across and save the princess. Now, there's people that want to take it level by level, and that's fine too, but it's just going to take you a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But we don't have time to waste here, guys. We're only here for a little while, so let's make it count.
That's good, man. You're bringing up some old memories, blowing in those cartridges, you know, making
right?
sure it's playing right. And I don't know if we were how old are you? You 30?
Oh, I just turned 43.
43. Nice. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So I'm 35, Paul's 36. So we just missed probably the Nintendo era.
Right.
We're more PlayStation 1, you know,
I play
CDs.
Nintendo, dude.
Do you?
Yeah.
Maybe
I was the last year because I got a year on you.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
It was the last 12 months.
Well, see, after Nintendo's, when everything got complicated, because I'm good with just 2 buttons to get me where I need to go.
Man.
And
My
then
boys
you guys,
play now. It's like the controllers.
Like 27 buttons, and then by the end of the day, you're throwing up like gang signs, and I'm like, dude, well, what happened? Oh, Dad, I was just playing a game, right?
Well, I love it, man. I love you said, you know, someone's gone before you, someone's forged the path in front of you, so it doesn't necessarily have to be as hard, but there's a process to everything, right? Like there's levels you got to go through, no matter, you know, who you are, where you've been, you still got to go through a process to get to the princess, right? That'll preach.
That's true. And here's the thing, right? So if I have 10 years on you guys, like all you had to do was come up and ask me, hey, have you ever played Super Mario? Yeah, Paul, check this out, man. Boom, boom, boom. How much time did I just save?
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'll bring up a quick little story, right? My kids ask me like, Dad, like, why do you have Rolexes? And I'm going to bring that up, like, and just throw it out there right now. And my son goes, "Hey, Dad, like, well, why are you into Rolexes? They're expensive." And I said, "Yes." I said, "But things aren't what they are." So, Mr. Rolex actually became an orphan at the age of 13. Nobody knows that. He ended up living with his uncles, which his parents actually had a business, and the business got ran to the ground. Nobody knows that. The only thing that Mr. Rolex ended up having was an education. So after that education, he started off with nothing. But here's what happened next, Paul. His first internship was at Timex. And at Timex, one of the things that he ended up doing was, and I'll tell you the short bit, men used to carry around pocket watches. Do you guys know why? Or do you guys remember like grandma?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, do you guys
movies
know
and
why?
stuff. No.
Well, pocket watches were a lot bigger. So the bigger clocks would go ahead and tell time more accurately. Women were the only people that would actually wear wristwatches, but women, it would run fast. So what Rolex basically did, he goes, "I'm going to fix that." So it was already built.
Right.
But what he basically did is he innovated it to perfection. That's why I like Rolexes. Give me the jigsaw puzzle and let me put the puzzle together in a shorter period of time.
Dude, into that point, and I don't know, to me, this is just a thought I had when you're talking about Rolex. Out of all the watches, Rolex holds its value better than anywhere else. Any other, I mean, like I told somebody, they're like, why would you spend that much on a Rolex? It's like, I'd rather be on my wrist than in a bank account because it's going to hold its value. In fact, depending on when you got it, it appreciated at a higher level. You know what I mean? And so I think that's a big deal.
Well, all right, ready, guys? Paul, did you know that Rolex is a nonprofit?
Is it
I
really?
heard that.
It's a nonprofit.
I saw a clip going viral the other day.
Yeah.
And someone saying it's a nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit. When the wife took over the company since the 60s, they basically went nonprofit. So here's the last part of the story that I told my son. I said, "Here's the deal, son. When you're part of a family, you value it. So right now, a Rolex, it's a 3.5-year wait. So when I get a call from the family and they say, 'Hey, you know what, Paul? We got a new watch for you.' You take the gift." And that brings up the second part, Paul. The minute that the watch hits the streets, it doubles in value.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the thing. If you take the watch and sell it on the street for profit, you get kicked out of the
You're
family.
out of the family.
So I'm in the family.
That's good.
I love it.
And that's the value behind it. Like for me, it wasn't about, oh, hey, it's the Rolex or the brand. Like, no, I learned the story. So whatever it is you guys are into, like Google it.
The story behind it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Google
Well,
it.
I noticed both of you guys have your Rolexes on. I forgot mine at home. Mine just says Samsung at the top. I don't know why,
Hey.
but
There's an app for that.
Yeah.
Change the face. Trust me. My Samsung has a Rolex face on it.
Hey,
So
let's go.
let's do it.
There you go.
There's hope. There's hope.
Absolutely.
So speaking of like, breaking the bricks and running, kind of the shortcut to life, right? So you're big in real estate. You not only train a lot of agents, but own property yourself. Kind of take us back to the journey of how did you get into real estate? Kind of, what made you decide, let me go into real estate as opposed to, any other financial services, or what's your journey been like in real estate, and how long have you been doing that?
I really appreciate that question. So full real estate, 22 years. So 22 years. And what got me into real estate was that my parents got defrauded.
Wow.
We literally were homeless at 16, and we had a perfect home. My parents ended up, getting into an argument, going through divorce. Some, snake oil real estate agent, they're not all built the same, right? Comes into the picture and says, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, let's sell it." Cuts my parents $10,000 supposedly profit, and then says, "Here's your 5,000. Here's your 5,000." What my parents didn't know was that the property was actually refinanced, and the guy took out $50,000. So there was still a loan on the property. My parents ended up, going to their separate ways. I ended up in apartments. I didn't know what an apartment was. I learned real quick with my fist what an apartment was, just so you guys know.
Yep.
And the second part of that was I never forgot. And that's the whole thing. You're never going to forget. And you could do two things with it. You could go down that path and say, hey, why me? Or we do something about it. And that's the whole thing where, it just depends like who you guys follow and stuff. But there's triggers that you can basically do. Like Tony Robbins talks about, like, if you snap your finger, you get into trance, right? And that's the whole thing. If I know my mind's going this way, like automatically I snap the finger and I'm going this way now, right? But the matter of the fact is that with anything that I do in life, I literally ask myself, what am I supposed to learn and who am I supposed to help?
That's good.
So I got into real estate, and true story, I was, working in like real estate fraud territory, like first payment defaults. I was going after the bad guys, right? And I started seeing how much money these guys were making, and they were making a killing. Not only were they making a killing, if you want to help someone, you have to be there before the crime happens. As a police officer, to be honest with you guys, and if you're not there while it's occurring, is an order taker. Hey, Paul.
Yeah, it's true.
What was he wearing? Which way did it go? And can you tell me what happened? So in order to be a superhero, you got to beat the bad guy to the punch. And by that, I had to go into sales. I went to a meeting with an insurance company. Starts with the P. That was, one of the first ones out there. And they were saying, hey, well, you know what? You could do loans and you could do like insurance and stuff. And I said, oh, okay, well, let me learn. Well, come to find out, I already have my real estate license, and I went out on the streets. The first year, it was scary. I had a job at 21 years old, making $35 an hour. I go to my boss and I say, hey, Paul, I'm thinking I'm going to go and do front end real estate. I said, here's my 2-week notice. I go home and I tell my mom that I'm going to do this, right? And I'm 21 years old, $36, 401k, right? 2 weeks off. I'm running. Set. I'm set, dude. Yeah. I'm set. Up for a promotion. Hablo español. Like, we're good. And I told my mom, I'm like, I'm going to go into real estate. Are you kidding me? I would kill to be in the position you're in. I mean, I'm going to support you with whatever it is, but it's just hard for me to believe that you're going to take that leap. So guess what? The next day I go back to, my manager, Paul, and I'm like, hey, Paul, can we talk about that, promotion that we were going to go through? And can I get my 2-week notice back? And his name's Ton. So shout out to Ton. And Ton goes, you know what? I'm sorry. I've already processed your order. You're out of here. So I was scared.
Backs against the wall now.
Backs against the wall. And here's what he left me with. I don't want you to be 36, 37 years old and think, what if? And I'm not telling you that I'm here to catch you if in case you fall, but I know that you'll make it happen. 22 years later, I live by those morals. So one of my favorite quotes happens to be, I would rather live a life of oh well instead of what ifs.
That's so good. Yeah. I mean, that's I mean, for one, there's two things that I think of, Jesse, when you say that. For one, the guy had the intention and heart to tell you those words that you were able to grab onto in the moment that you needed it most. And to me, that's like an everyday hero. I think we get so caught up in, well, is my life mattering the way it needs to matter? Am I living a purposeful life? And it's like, that guy in that moment lived a great purpose in that seat, because now you're able to take that and do what you've done, and you've impacted so many people with XRP and all these different things you've done and the good that you've brought. And it was built upon in that time, those words. And so it's like, if you're a school teacher, no matter what you're doing, whatever position or profession you're in, man, just a phrase, a sentence of encouragement, that can be something that changes that person's life. And you don't sit there and think like, I made such a big difference this day, but yeah, you did. The reality is, man, you made a massive, massive impact. And those words is something that it sounds like you kind of used to build your life philosophy upon and get your courage and confidence as you went forward.
22 years. And again, I'm going to tell you, like, I look for the best in everyone, and everyone to me, in my mindset, is here to help me. Right. And I'm also here to help them. So again, when I speak with someone, I basically take them down a chart. Do you need this? I literally am taking an order. If I can't help you this way, Well, then have you considered this? Oh, real estate. No. Okay. So since you're going to stay here for, a longer period of time, then let's just ensure that you're protected. Let's talk about like insurance, right? So technically when you're sitting with someone, like you're their confidant, like they asked you. So when people ask me like, hey, Jess, like, did you make $1 million in insurance? Yeah. Real estate, sales. Yeah. Real estate investments. Yeah. Stock market. Yeah. 2020. Right. And I'm just saying these things because without me trying, I would never know.
Yeah.
And again, let's say you do try and you don't make it. You don't make the money, but you learn the lesson. So now you can tell someone, don't step in that. Don't step in that. I could see, what's in front of you that, and again, I'm not here to like tell people, hey, you know what? I don't believe in you. No. All I'm saying, hey, Paul, if you take the first step, take the first step, but look to your left. And I'll never hold the person back. Good. And that's how, I help all my agents.
Well, I think a lot of people, you get to an older age in life and you have a lot of regrets, right? Because they never stepped out to find out. It reminds me of like, I don't know if you're a man of faith or not, but it reminds me of, the disciples going across the lake and they're in the middle of a storm. They see what appears to be a ghost, right? And they're like, right. Jesus, is that you? Like, Lord, if that's you, then Peter raises his hand. Like, if it's you, tell me to come, right? And he steps out on the water, begins to walk on the water. And it's like all the other disciples are just sitting back and kind of watching the whole scene. But it reminds me of what you said. Like, well, at least I stepped out. Like, I'd rather live by an oh well, than a what if I never did. And it just reminds me, like, Peter then goes on to, preach the first gospel message and brings 3,000 people in the church. And it's all initiated from that point forward because he had the faith to step out and find out. It's like what you did with the real estate. You stepped out,
Right. So step one, take the step, right? Step two, and this is my second lesson, be still.
Yeah.
And know.
That's good.
Be still.
Come on.
Be still and know that I am.
Yep.
The one.
That's right.
The God. Because I'm going to tell you guys, we get wrapped up. Oh, wait, I just made X amount of dollars. Oh, you know what? Life is, doing all this, all that. Hold on. You're running too fast. And who had giveth can
come on,
take it.
Okay? Right. That's right. Yeah.
So, at that particular point, I'm just like, all right, hold on. Everything's going great. I don't live by fear, but hey, slow down. Look
Dude,
around.
that's so good.
It is.
I mean, that's a word for success, because a lot of times success is what takes somebody out, right? Not the failure, because all of a sudden they get so high and above all the things and they lose their principles and the habits and the things they live by because they get so caught up in the success, and the success becomes their demise, right? That crown crushes them.
Well, check this out. As a real estate agent, what's the goal? Well, to become a team lead. After you become a team lead, you want to go ahead and become a broker, right? After you become a broker, you got to buy real estate properties as investments, right? Because that's what they tell us to do. And at the end of the day, you're 50. And here's the part. You're going to lose. It doesn't matter how good you are. You're going to lose, okay? You're going to lose your youth. You're going to lose your time. You're going to lose your wife.
Dude, this is so good.
You're going to lose your kids because you're out working those 13, 14 hours. So all my mentors are 10, 15 years older than I am because I got to see where I'm going because that's the road I chose, right? So again, these people that I'm talking about, I love them. But if I saw that John was, just spending a lot of time at work and, wasn't there for, his kids, and I'll ask you, check this out, 100%, 99 of the agents that I ask, I'll say, do you want little Johnny to be a realtor like you when he grow up? Guess what they basically tell me as a real estate agent? Oh, no, I want Johnny to go to school and become a doctor. Seriously? You're an entrepreneur. You're going to put Johnny through to med school, but you already know all the answers to the test, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you want him to just hand him the baton? You guys know how our last names came about, right? John Blacksmith. What was he? Blacksmith, right? So
I don't know if mine came about like that, but I hear you.
Google it, Google it and check it out, right? But the reality of it is, life is easy.
Dude, I have to paraphrase this real quick.
That's good.
Shoot it.
I got to paraphrase this. So it's like, dude, for one, what I'm hearing is like, at the end of the day, go out there and take some risk and let's get moving. Because for one, like typically what you've been fed, it doesn't work. Like the system is broken. The system of going, whether that's, hey, you go to school, get a good job, get a 401k, it just simply doesn't work for the life that you truly want to have. The system doesn't work. Even the system of like you're talking about, hey, this is what the flow is as far as getting into real estate, do X, Y, Z. It doesn't get you to where you want. It'll get you to where the masses are, but the graves are full of people that died with dreams because they did what the masses did. So step one is understand that. Let that motivate you that maybe what you've heard up until right now is not accurate as far as getting you to the dreams and levels that you want to get to. The next part of that is like, take that step and find somebody that's gone before you that can show you the way forward. Dude, that's my biggest thing. Like, dude, when I was even in school, I found the good looking smart girl and I was like, hey, and I'd follow her to her seat because I knew that she was going to have the answers. In fact,
I married her.
Well, she didn't have to be good looking. That's not even true. I didn't care what she looked like. She just needed to be smart because I knew what I needed. I needed the answers, right? And I'd sit next to her and I'd say, hey, could you move your shoulder, your elbow, so I could see it? And she would do it. I'd give her a little smile and I'd get straight A's. When I got into the business, it was the same thing. Show me somebody. Now, I was also a fruit inspector, which is what you're saying. Let me go ahead and inspect some fruit. Do I want to follow that person? Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got something to say. Information's everywhere, but let me first inspect some fruit. And if you are the kind of person that I want to be financially, maybe even your family, the way you treat your spouse, how you handle your kids, okay, now can you please show me the way forward? And then when you take that step, even though you've got now years expedited, when you make that misstep, you're still going to learn something that's going to be able to help your testimony. Now you can help the person behind you differently than the person ahead of you helped you because you've got your own mistakes and errors, but you're all developing and growing to these new levels. And dude, like that, to me, that is like, that's a big part of the playbook, right?
Right.
And, I think really what my next question, Jesse, is like, you've established this playbook that's worked in multiple different arenas. Somebody that's getting started, they're like, man, I want to be successful. I want to go out there and start down this path of developing success in an industry. I want to have financial wealth. I want to get to a place where I could say, man, I'm happy where I'm at financially. What would be some of those steps in the playbook that are essential for them to actually start moving forward?
All right. Okay. So if you guys are out there and you're about to get started, take it back to the basics. Okay. Who, what, where, why, when, and how. I want to be a teacher. Well, when do you want to be a teacher by? Why do you want to become a teacher? What do you need to do to become one? And how do you plan on doing it? So when you talked about like the different playbooks, Paul, it's the same one. Everything I do is duplicatable, scalable, and profitable. And if not, I don't do it. I mirrored everything for real estate to insurance to wholesaling to, flipping and back. But it's the same exact concept. And it also starts with that. So find out what, who, what, when, why, and where. But then guess what? You got to ask that same question again. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You want to get into real estate? Great. Now you got to ask that question to the person that you're helping. All right. Hi, what do you want? Well, I want a home. Yeah. Okay. How do you plan on buying it? In cash? Oh, okay. When do you see yourself in the home? Oh, okay. Well, what has to happen in order for you to get that? So it goes back to the same exact thing. And if we were to go, insurance, awesome. Why are you doing this? Who are you trying to protect? What are you trying to do? What do you want to accomplish? It doesn't matter, but it's always, if you start with those open-ended questions, that's the meaning of success to me.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's the same 5 questions, but depending on who your avatar is or the person you're talking to, you just might have to rearrange the order. But it's the same exact process. It's the same exact playbook.
For everything.
For everything.
For your family.
Yeah.
For everything. It gives you a vision of what you're looking for. Because I think a lot of people don't ask themselves those questions. And the questions that they start to ask themselves are not good questions. It's questions full of doubt, fear. And so now they start to have this picture painted of really the family that they don't want, the finances that they don't want. But those are questions that help you find good answers because they're great questions. And your thought process is just a direct result of the questions you ask yourself. And so you're asking yourself those questions. And then a good coach, which is what you've done forever. I mean, I'm sitting here, dude, learning a ton from you, is like, you start asking your people great questions, they find better answers, and now they can go to work on those answers, right?
One of my mentors says, long story short, you're asking the wrong question. Go ahead and rephrase that. And then I'll ask another one. And then he'll say, you're asked the wrong question. Go ahead and rephrase it. He'll do that to me for 20 minutes.
Wow.
To break it down to what you really need to ask.
That's it.
Yep.
So
you're saying when people say there's no dumb questions, that's not true. It's not true. I don't think it's true. There's definitely some dumb questions.
Yeah. It's just you're asking the wrong question. Right. That's not the answer you're looking for. So go ahead and rephrase that. Right. And I'll take it back really quick, and I'll take it home with this one. So I asked John why John doesn't want Johnny to be a realtor, right? But then I'll ask little Johnny, hey, little Johnny, you want to be a realtor like your dad? No, man. You want to know why? Because he was never home. At 6 o'clock, he was always out on the dinner table taking applications. On Saturdays, he was doing open houses. And on my baseball game, the day that I was supposed to be in the playoffs, he showed up late. And that was when I said, screw this. That's not important. Yeah. That money's not important. And that's when I figured out, I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this to buy time. That's what I buy.
Yeah.
I buy time for a living.
That's good. Well, I think that, part of the reason why we wanted to have this podcast is because, you look at the landscape of social media or influencers or just people maybe in your own city that you would look at, and on the outside, you're like, man, that guy's successful. That guy's got it going on. He's got what appears to be a lot of money, a lot of influence, a lot of power. But then you start digging a little bit deeper and you find out a lot of these people, they got a broken home, or a lot of people aren't happy with themselves, or they got no faith, or whatever it is, right? So there's success in one area, but failure in the other.
Yeah.
And so we started looking at that, go, man, we want to be, men that, kind of have it all, right? And why not? Like, I don't want to kill it financially, but then my wife hates me, my kids can't stand me. I look real good on the outside, but inside I'm miserable, I'm depressed, but like, dude, to my peers, I'm killing it. And so we never want to be those people. So part of the reason we started this podcast is so we could talk about our faith, right? Our family, fitness. We don't want to be, rich and fat and die early, right? So just talk about it all. And I think that's what you're saying, the same things. Like, we don't want to be people that appear to be, powerful, influential, or successful in one area, but not the other. So talk about, like, maybe for you, how does that all kind of balance together? How does that,
well, it goes to what we started. The minute I start running fast on something, I have to stop, slow down.
Do you believe in balance?
I do, but you got to stop, slow down, and ask, like, be still. Okay. So case in point, I'm about to exit another company right now. Right. And I hit my goal. I did what I was supposed to do. We're good. Everything's on autopilot. Right. But guess what? It cost me 20 pounds. I was $180. Now I'm $193. Right.
Yeah.
So now I have to go back and I got to fix that. But again, it's that balance where, hey, you know what? Yeah, you could, we were brought up, right? I don't know. Did we all come from money? Possibly not. But the whole thing was that I talk about this with my wife, right? It all just starts with the littlest thing. So what am I talking about? My kids don't have to go through what I went through. So I need to learn from somebody that is in my position with kids that are 17 years old, so that now I don't have to go down that road. Well, this is the same thing I just talked about, right?
Yep.
Second part, when growing up, my parents used to say, hey, you can't get up until you finish all that food, because they didn't know where their next meal was coming from. But if I'm blessed in that form that we don't have that to worry about, we got to change the mindset. And I'm going to just tell my son, Paul, just eat till you're full. So that now maybe he doesn't have to worry about his physique because he got what he needed, and that's the whole thing. We're at the point now that we're passing the baton. You're passing the baton to your viewers. So what message are you giving them? Right? So the target is never the target. Sit back and look at what you want as balanced. And the minute that you do not see a future in money, in success, in this relationship, in this business venture, snap your fingers.
That's good.
Snap your fingers immediately and sit back and reanalyze and say, all right, if I go down this road for another 6 months, am I hurting or am I helping?
It's a lot of self-awareness, being very, very present with what's going on and taking inventory of your life, man, is what it sounds, Jesse. And I think that's where you kind of don't fall into those pitfalls and pratfalls, is where you kind of take that inventory. And I love what you said, man. I'm going to take that with me. Like when you start running so fast in one area, or one seems to be thriving so much, just pause, take a breath, spend some time with God, and have some things highlighted that you might be missing. That's going to say, hey, I need to get a little better here. I need to improve here. And then ask those questions. How do I get better? What does that look like? Why do I need to get better? And you start painting that picture to move yourself out of that busyness to being also intentional in that other category, right?
Right. I'm going to share something that's never been shared before. Okay. You said stop and spend some time with God. Remember I owed $500,000? Well, case in point, I'm not an attorney or, advisor, but you have X amount of years before you can, go back and fight. If not, it's Bible, it stays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, I was getting to that timeline, and I never did anything wrong. I've never done anything wrong. Things happen. And during that time period, I'm just going to tell you, I got married. She showed up. And I've always wanted to be a dad. That was my goal. I don't care about anything else. And it was so weird. Like, I called my shot. I wanted my firstborn to be a girl. I wanted my daughter. I wanted my daughter so that she could melt my heart, so that I can actually take love back in. Love. And then I said, I want my son so that I can pass the baton, right? So on that note, the clock was about to expire on this $500,000. And I went and I started asking around, and one guy goes, dude, that's simple. You want to know the answer is? I said, yeah, how do I get out of this? He goes, you just make more money. I hated him. And I don't use that word very much. But that was the mindset that I was closed off, but he opened it. And I'm like, now I thank him. I thank him because that was the answer. Truth be told, I didn't know how. And Paul, you just said, I had to go talk with God. So during this cloud moment of my life, I said, I'm going to go meet you, God. And I said, where am I going to meet him? I'm going to meet him in his house. I'm going to meet him at one of his 7 wonders. I got into, my car. I went to Walmart. I bought some blankets. I bought some water. I went home and I told my wife, I'll be back. And by the way, the only reason I said I need to fix this and I need to fix this now, I was going to be a dad. And I found out that my baby was going to be a girl. But then now I have this 500,000 still like weighing over my head. And I needed to find out, like, how am I going to get through this? So the be still part came into play. And I said, I'm going to be right back. And I took off to the 7th wonder of the world, the closest one. You guys know what that is?
Grand Canyon?
The Grand Canyon. And I went to go talk to him. And I said, hey, you know what? I've done everything. Everything you told me I've done. I've helped. I've never asked for nothing. I always tell you thank you for everything. So that's the one thing that I will say. I've never asked God for anything. I thank him for everything. So I go out there, have no idea. I met with the guy. I was already in for like $30,000, $50,000 that I got scammed on like this little venture to fix this, right? Well, I go and I'm at peace. I finally know what like peace is when I went to the Grand Canyon. And I stayed there. I got there 6 o'clock, and I stayed the night. I got woken up by like a 14-foot moose. Scared the crap out of me. Like, through the moonroof. Like, it was
That'll wake you
insane.
up for
Yeah,
sure.
it'll wake you up. So next morning, I just get up and I just had like this peace with me, and I started driving home. And I just said, what? Why? What am I supposed to learn? Fast forward, I'm driving home 2 hours. I get to like Blythe, or around that area. I don't know where I was at. My wife calls me and she says, hey, there's a letter here from the IRS. Open it. I'm already here. Read it to me. Mr. Morphin, based on the results of all the information that was provided, you don't owe $1. We owe you $27,000.
Wow.
So I'm sharing that story
that's a miracle.
because I don't know, but it happened that down the road on the way home. I come back and I'm like ready to have my baby. I'm ready to just kick butt. And remember, I told my wife, what took me 7 years, I'll get it back in 12 months. In the next 12 or 13 months, I ended up buying 37 properties with hard money with a couple of my mentors. I never asked them for $1. So it wasn't their money. It was my earned money. 32, 33 properties. I ended up getting up to like 55. One of my mentors ended up having colon cancer. I was 33 years old. His name was Fritz. And I said, Fritz, what's the one thing that you would redo in your life? And he said, I would spend more time with my family. I came back home to San Bernardino. I put up 20 properties for sale. I got down to like 23, 24 properties, all free and clear. And then I'm on my way back. And I think I told you I'm back to like 31, 32. Same model again. But that's what ended up taking place. But this is what I was going to get at. 4 years after the fact, I had a conversation with my mom. And she said, I'm proud of you. And I said, what? Thanks, right? And she goes, I didn't think we were going to come back home that day. What day? I think she thought that I was going to commit suicide in the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
And that thought never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go talk to him and just square up.
Yeah.
I done everything. And that's the part where moving forward, what am I supposed to learn?
Yeah.
And who am I supposed to help? And that's it.
That's beautiful, man. Well, I'll tell you what, like the one thing that I've taken from this whole conversation, if you guys haven't taken this, man, get around and seeks out somebody that can show you the way forward, and then with a purpose that you're going to learn, you're going to go out there and execute and do and earn, and then it's your calling to go out there and return it as well. And I think a lot of times the greatest fulfillment is in that returning part, where you can now give back what you've gotten. I mean, there's so many things you said, Jesse, like even the, you go into every conversation and interaction, and this is a transformative thought process that I'm going to give and I'm going to receive. One of my affirmations daily is God open up doors and reveal to me areas that I can be generous and give me an open heart to receive. And it was just that thing of like everything. It's not about give and take. It's just like, I want to go out there and give. And, I think when you find somebody that can show you the way forward, not just one area of your life, but every area, you need somebody that, and it might be different people, you know what I mean? Like I consider, Bran, like somebody that really helps steward me with my faith, and with the conversations we have, I'm intentional trying to understand just different things and dive deeper into that, because I know that that's an essential part of my life. That's everything, and then when I talk to you and, I've gotten into real estate over the past, 15 years, I slowly got into it. And now the last, year I wanted to dive more into it. And that's kind of how we connected. I was like,
Right.
man, let's get up here. I want to pick your brain. I want to learn some stuff about it so that way I can take it to the next level. I'm not sitting back here thinking like, well, because I bought in 12 real estate properties in the past, decade, that I know what I'm doing. I don't, I got into it, really as a side thing, as investments. I was building my wealth in financial services. And then it was like every year, my goal was just to buy a rental and then hold it. I'd put down 20%, buy a rental, stick a tenant in it, and I got up to, having, about 11 of them. And then I got a commercial building, and then it's like, okay, that was my level of knowing, was just that. But there's so much more to it. And now that I'm looking at, flips and all these other things, that's how we spoke. So like everything you talked about today, man, that's the reason why I am who I am, is because I've gotten around great people, right? And for somebody that's on here today saying, well, how do I do that? Well, I mean, for one, if you're a person of faith, spending time with God and His Word, that's the best person that's going to show you the way forward, right? I mean, he's my daily, hourly, minute by minute mentor,
Right,
right?
right.
But get some people that have gone the way before you, whether that's with kids and parents, and be intentional that when you're with them, your questions shouldn't run out. Like, Jesse, be clear. We're going golfing after
Yeah.
this. Dude, I'm not going to be short with questions. I've thought this thing through. When you're up here, bro, I'm going to get as much as I can from you, because I know that, dude, this 3 hours with you, it could save me 3 years, 30 years. And I just don't think people understand it enough, that you try to will it yourself. It's so much more painful. It takes so much more time. And like you said, with your buddy on the deathbed, most people have that thought and that saying of like, I just wish I would have had more time or made more time to spend with my family. Well, a lot of that starts with getting around people that can help you save the time and your path to where you want to go in all these different areas, man. And so I just want to say thank you, dude. This has been it's been beautiful,
Appreciate it.
man.
Yeah, right now you brought up another great point. If you're a person out there, right, you need friends, you need mentors. Ask the right question. Okay, wait for those answers. But here's the other one. Take notes. Take notes, because that. Here's a good note to take. 6 degrees of separation. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're 6 people away from what you want. That's it. So social media has now actually made that maybe to like four people. Okay. And here's the thing. If you want to get into real estate, right, go to your social media and, you're connected to Paul. And then look at Paul's friends list, and you could see, well, that guy's in real estate, that guy's in real estate. So the connection's already made. And even though social media and Zoom, a lot of people, fight me on this, on very many topics. It's not the same. It's not person to person. No, it's not the same, but this is the way it's done now, right? So it doesn't make it right. But if you look at the tools that are behind you, your phone, guys, you can make $1 million on your phone, and I'm about to crack another business on it through the phone that I'm actually teaching my kids. And let's talk about the phone. When you guys log into your apps, what does it say? Put in your what name?
Username.
Yeah, users. Who are users? Addicts. Okay. So
Good point.
Okay, who are users, right? So are you going to use it, or is it going to use you?
That's right.
I use it.
Mm-hmm.
I control this thing. God gave me this to, share my message, do what I need to do. So use it. And it's
I agree with that, bro.
easy to do it now. So.
I think we're going to agree on more things than not, even though you said a lot of people disagree with you. I think I'm on your wavelength, bro. This has fed my soul, and it's been really good, man. And I agree. One of the questions that I think anybody leaving here to get to that next door of opportunity with somebody that can help you, just ask the person that maybe and who do you know that I should know? Like, who do you know that I should know? Can you make that introduction? And that might be the one best question you could have that opens up that door to a whole new level, right? Just that one specific question. And I'm going to ask you that today while we're golfing. Who do you know that I should know? And I'm not confused, man. That's how you unlock these next levels is grab some keys of somebody that's already kind of unlocked that, and they can say, hey, I got an extra set for you.
Yeah.
Open this up, man.
Absolutely.
So thank you, brother.
Yeah, dude, I feel like we need a part 2.
I do too. Yeah,
absolutely. We got to get you back up here, man, one of these days.
Deal.
And really dive into the practicalities of what you do and what that looks like. And, I'm sitting back just taking it all in, dude. I think you touched on every single topic, I was going into this thinking like, oh, he's going to teach us how to flip or how to wholesale or how to do this. But really, man, you spoke not only faith, but you spoke mindset, you spoke leadership, you spoke parenting, you spoke all of it, man. So I'm encouraged. Thank you for, making that drive up the mountain,
Up the mountain.
up the Cajon. Man, I hope you guys have an amazing, don't let him fool you on the golf course. He's a pretty good golfer. So if he tells you don't golf that much, he's lying to you.
I'm a Friday golfer.
Yeah.
Every Friday. Today's Friday. That's what we do on Fridays.
Nice.
So
Well, I'm wearing the uniform.
you
That's
are,
right,
man.
we're
You
good.
are. Shout out to BYLT.
Yeah.
We need
You
a
guys want to
sponsorship.
sponsor? Yeah, no doubt, man. This just
Seriously,
has happened organically. This is
It did. So cool, man. Where can people follow you or find you at? Or
So all my handles are the same. It's Jesse, Jessie, Morfin, Morfin. Just Google me. You'll see the businesses out there. But again, I'm an open book. And all the answers to the test are already in front of you. I tell people, it's like, hey, you know what? You got the recipe. You got the ingredients. You're just missing the recipe, man.
Yeah, put it together.
Let's go. Let's go mix. Let's go bake, and let's make this a beautiful week. Jesse, thank you again. Guys, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this. If you haven't shared it already, I'm not gonna say you're selfish, but hey, you got to live with that. But hey, let's get out there and make it a massive week. Let's be strong. Let's stay steadfast, and let's go crush it. Thank you, guys. Love you. God bless you. Thank you, brother.